Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Cosmic Compass Conversations. And I was just saying to everyone who's gathered here this morning at 10 o'clock on sometime in May, a particular day in May, I believe it's probably around, I don't know, maybe let's just say May 20th. Anyway, welcome. I'm sorry for any confusion, but I'm really, really happy that you were adventurous and you pressed the button anyway. So welcome, welcome, welcome. I just wanted to share a couple of things about how we're going to go through today, and then we'll get started. So as usual, we'll do some breathing. We'll drop in. I'll pull some cards. I do want to talk about Jupiter just for a few moments, and then I'm going to bring on our special guest. And for those of you that are watching live, and even if you're watching later, in the email was this PDF of a healing mandala. And if you have some colored pencils or colored pens, you can participate, and it's easy and simple. It's not, it's all easy and simple, but fun. All right. So here we go. What I would like to do first is just bring us into the circle by offering an opportunity to deepen into yourself just for a moment. If it's comfortable, you can close your eyes. If it's not quite comfortable for that right now, maybe you're somewhere else, just bring your awareness inward. Can drop in through your heart, drop in anywhere you need and want to in your body, and just bring yourself inward. And we're going to take 4 breaths. And on the exhales, if you feel comfortable, you can ha with me, and we'll bring all that energy in. So breathing into your belly, expanding the belly. And on your exhale, and even though I can't hear you, I can feel you. Breathing in, expanding your belly. And exhaling. And breathing in. Expanding your belly a little more. And exhaling. And one more time, feeling the earth beneath you, breathing in up through the soles of your feet, expanding your belly. And exhaling. Beautiful. And if you want to take in another breath, just for good measure, we'll breathe that in together. Expanding the belly. And exhaling. Beautiful. And just again, taking your time to be fully present. A lot of times when we do that breathing, I could just stay there forever. So very happy to have a few moments of that with you this morning. So as promised, I'm going to share with you some cards for the week. And I'm going to interweave that with some astrology. So as we're pulling cards, my intention is to ask our guides, thanking our guides first, ask our guides to support us with some, of course, very interesting information, questions, support, affirmations, whatever it is. I am very excited to have the opportunity to do this with you this morning. So this is a special week. It's always a special week in some form, but Jupiter and the Sun were together at 28 degrees over the weekend. You already got the email on that, but I just wanted to share that energy lasts this week. It's not just for over the weekend. So as we move through the week, honoring the blessings, honoring the support, honoring our guides, honoring what we feel grateful for, honoring generosity in some form. There's a lot you can read about the Jupiter conjunction, and I would say much of it focuses on luxury and wealth, and you can absolutely add that in. There's nothing wrong with asking for what you want. And if that's part of, if money, wealth, health, friends, support, whatever it is that you're looking for, desiring. One of the things that I had a great conversation with the universe, I don't know if it was Friday, maybe on Friday, and just really understood more clearly. I've always wondered, why do we have to ask? Like, if there are all these angels and guides and they're here for our benefit, why do we have to ask, right? Why? Well, because conversation with relationships. So when we're in relationship with anyone, it's really helpful to not expect the other person to read your mind. I mean, I'm sure all of you know this, right? We all have a secret desire that it would be that easy, but it's not. So being in relationship with anything means communication, and that communication can come in many forms. It doesn't have to be verbal, but the idea of being clear about what we desire, what we want, how we want to move forward. And many decades ago, when reading Shakti Gawain's book, one of the things that I learned was, when I ask for what I want, this or something better, this or something better, because that idea of it could be even better than I imagine, not to limit a limitless universe, right? Not to limit the limitless universe. And this is such an important part of the Jupiter experience right now. Let's not limit Jupiter. Let's allow that expansiveness. Let's allow that abundant generosity. And one of the best ways I know to get clear is to drop into gratitude. So, one of the reasons why I have our special guest today is because she is someone I feel very grateful for, all her healing energies. Okay, but before we get there, let's check in with some cards around Jupiter, around the full moon that's coming, which is in Sagittarius, by the way, which is ruled by Jupiter. That's how they're all connected. So there's this really expansive, powerful, just yummy energy this week that allows us, even on our hardest days, to just remember we're being cared for. Sometimes that's all we need, is just to know that there's an energy out there that cares, that really cares. So if on one end that's all you can do this week, that's fine. On the other end, if there's more expansiveness that wants to flow through you, this is a great time. And the sun has moved into Gemini, is moving into Gemini. It's this is going to be an interesting time. It's going to be ripe with getting clear about what we want to share, what we want to say, how we want to express ourselves, particularly since Jupiter moves into Gemini on the 25th. And we have a whole year ahead of how we want to use our words, how we want to communicate, and how our opportunities of good fortune can increase as we express our authenticity. Okay. So that's what we're all about here anyway. So this is nothing new. You all know this. You're all totally advanced astrology people. Okay. First card. Oh, we haven't been visited by one of my favorite cards. And actually, I am being serious. This deck, I love this card. Maybe not in all decks. Okay. It's kind of like, remember that Name That Tune? Name that card. Name that card. What card is it? It's the Tower card. Okay. Of all the decks, I really do think this is one of the best Tower cards. Now, for those of you who are wondering, what is the first thing we do? The first thing we do is we look and feel into the card. What do you notice? What do you feel? What is it that this card is conveying to you in this moment? Every time I look at this card, I have a bit of a different experience. It's pretty exciting. And I'm just going to leave it there so that you can, and I apologize for the color is much more vibrant in real life, but I think because the sun is coming in from the side, it's a little hard to see, but it is very vibrant. All right, so the Tower card first. Thank you, universe and guides, for that reminder. Interesting. All right, name that card, name that card. Okay, it's kind of fun to kind of get those details. See that amethyst there? I'm going to pull it out a little bit further so you can see it. Flower of life. There's a cliff. The Fool, right? The Fool. Always remember the wise fool, right? How do you feel? What do you notice? Yeah, this is really interesting reading. Yes, it's just so beautiful, right? Just so beautiful. So again, just tuning in, allowing yourself to connect with the energies, and back to that later. And then the third card for the week. We have not gotten this card. This is visually not my favorite card ever. So here we go. It's the Devil card. Now, this bears some explanation for those of you that are a little nervous. I'd like you to just take a moment, just select what feels interesting to you about this card. It's actually a really good card to get, and I'll explain that in just a moment. But hey, well, I expected to have this card show up. This card's an interesting card, and this one is an interesting card. So we have a very interesting reading for the week. Not exactly what I expected, but that's okay. That's just goes to show you, I pull them randomly. This is just random. All right, so this is an interesting card because actually, again, remember how I think I put this in the Cosmic Circle email, but the Angelus Arian Tarot Handbook is the excellent handbook for all things tarot, because she goes into some deeper explanations of the cards. One of the things about the Devil card is that it actually doesn't look that bad, honestly. I'm starting to notice a few things about it that I like. Is that in actuality, that energy is really about living fully. So a lot of you have heard this before, but I think it bears repeating. If you look at the word devil, hold on, let me get it to come into some. It's actually the word lived spelled backwards. I did not do that. Okay, so moving on, I will not move my hands. The energy of living and being able to move through any challenges with some degree of humor is really what that card's about. And that particular artistic representation may not show that quite in that way. But the idea is that life comes with challenges, life comes with things that we don't expect. And to have a little humor, to have a little merriment, to be able to be like, huh, interesting, and incorporate the teaching, the learning, and the wisdom is very powerful. And it is the 15. So something else to keep in mind, that 1 and 5 equals 6. So the vibration is the 6 vibration underneath the 15. And that's all about love. So there's been this misrepresentation of the devil as being something other than an opportunity to live into life and to share more of our wisdom, particularly when things are a little unexpected or a little challenging. So along with the Tower card, which was the first card, which gives us a reminder of rejuvenation, restoration, how things change, right? It's very major. Yes, it is. Life is changing, shifting, growing, moving. Our need for rejuvenation, our need for restoration is in the Tower card. And then in the Fool card, that energy of trust. How can I trust? How can I trust? Actually, it's probably like this, but anyway, how can I trust? What is the path? And part of it is trusting that no matter what happens, there's some joy or merriment to move with us. Now, to be fair, I love Chris Ann, so I don't actually pull this card very often, so I'm going to read to you the affirmation for the Devil card. And actually, I think this is important. It says, in the darkness, I am free to heal everything. So, good point. I'm free to heal everything. And that really guides me to my guest, actually. The thing is, one of the aspects and one of the reasons why we gather and why we started gathering was to bring some more healing energy into our world, which has quite a bit of darkness, right? So let's not, yes, I agree. I will say fair enough. Fair enough. Yes, I won't say who said that, but yes, the devil does have a nice set of abs. Very handsome devil. Ha ha. Very good. Okay, see, you're good. You're doing it. You're doing it. So within the challenges and within the darkness, there are opportunities for healing. So I'm going to bring in my guest now, Denise Sutter. So here she comes. Oh, yes. Okay, it worked. Hi. Welcome.
Thank you.
All right. So one of the things, Denise, I think we'll just dive in because if that's okay, I think that most people who are here have read some of your background, but I want to share just a little bit of my experience of working with you and being with you and spending time with you. And it does feel like a lifetime. It does feel like we've known each other our whole lives, even though it hasn't been, it's been less than a decade, but still some good amount of time. Denise and I were both born in Georgia. We both have the same life path number 8. We both have the same name. We both have, well, a first name that starts with an E, and I have a middle name that starts with an E. So there you go. We have that in common. And we both have suffered from anxiety a lot
Yes.
in our lifetimes. We're both very highly sensitive people. And I'm pretty sure everyone on this call right now can raise their hand and say, yep, been there, done that, have had experiences of that. So one of the things, Denise, that when I first met you, the healing journey had already started. You were already well into the healing journey and offering healing to people. And we're both Taurus. Hello. Thank you. You're
I
so
was going to
smart.
mention that.
Oh my gosh. Hello. Very good. We're both Taurus. Thank you. Thank you. The healing journey had already started. And one of the things I remember distinctly was coming to I've been to your different healing studios in person and remembering about your family's history of healing and how that has run through you and your life and how you wanted to honor your family's legacy through yourself. And that's an unusual place to start, but would you be willing to share a little bit more about your family and why
Sure.
that's important? Okay.
Yes. Thank you, first of all, for having me here. I'm really excited and honored and appreciative. So I grew up, my family didn't really talk about it much, but I always knew that I just knew there was this healing capacity within my family. I come from a family from Louisiana, and from a line of healers who they called it the laying on of hands. So it's very similar to Reiki. Um, and I just grew up, if something was bothering me, my body, my grandmother would lay her hands on me and just be silent. And I would think nothing of it. And I also I never really questioned it, which was interesting until I got a little older. But, um, or if I had a nosebleed, she called my great great grandmother and she would do her thing to help me stop, to stop my nosebleed. And it was just all very interesting, but I didn't really think anything of it or explore it further for myself until much later in life.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how many of us grew up with anything quite like that. I grew up with a little bit different, like reincarnation and being psychic was normal, and reading the stars was normal. So, I didn't question any of that. But I love this. I love the that part of your family that was just like, we can heal this. We can work with this. That's a really beautiful energy.
It is. I wish they had taught more about it.
Mhm,
So I'm hopefully changing that for our family, where I'm very, very transparent with my kids. They know what I'm about and what I do. And I've helped them a lot in their own path. But, I didn't learn till later on that my mom has had cancer many times. And
mm,
when I was in high school, we didn't expect her to live through the night. And I didn't learn till years later that my grandmother was there with her and she saw the energy around my mom and just started working with it and wiping it away and throwing it into the ground, she said. And my mom survived
mm,
unexpectedly. And I wish I had learned about all of this earlier to begin my own healing path
mm,
earlier, but I'm really grateful that I stumbled upon it on my own in a
mhm.
very different way.
Yeah. That story gave me chills and always does. And I every journey has some element of purpose. And do you have a sense of the why behind having to explore your own path first before coming back around to something that had just been a part of your life for your childhood?
Um, I had this, I think of the tower card, things had to really fall apart for me
Mhm,
to come across it on my own and um, to make it my own, to do things in a bit of a different way, but to carry forward that healing
mhm.
ability that my family had, that was passed down to me.
Yeah. Are you comfortable sharing just a little snippet of um some of the things that led you to, and again, I appreciate what you're saying about the tower card, but also the devil
Mhm.
card fits into this really well too, because in the darkness, we can hear
Yes,
everything, right? Do you want to say a little more about that?
I do. And I've never drawn a devil card, so I'm grateful that you did it today. And I actually wrote down in the darkness, I am free to heal everything. Actually going through darkness right now. And I think despite all that I've been through and how far I've come, there's just always deeper and deeper layers. So I really appreciate this card today.
Mhm.
Um, and I am now forgetting what your question was.
Oh, just if you want to share anything
Oh,
about,
to share.
yeah, about the darknesses that led to the light of healing.
Sure.
Yeah.
Um, I I it was basically my anxiety. It was me living in a way that didn't allow me to understand my anxiety and to help myself through it in a
Mhm.
way that was beneficial to me.
Yes.
So instead, I've written a story in a collaborative book, and what I've learned is that through my life, I would jump into these roles in order to push aside my anxiety. So it's much like an actor plays a part in a movie. You're stepping into the role, you're doing what's required of you,
Yes.
but you're not really honoring yourself and what feels right to you. I was a cheerleader. I was sorority president. I would always volunteer in the PTA or with sports. And that went against everything I was feeling because it felt kind of scary to me. But I somehow ended up in these roles. And when you're playing a role, you're building a very precarious foundation for yourself.
Yes.
And so when I was in my 30s, I'm married and I have 3 children. The children were little. My husband began a company, and I was just a stay-at-home mom with a very full life. And everything just that this house of cards I had built just kind of came stumbling down. And I began having panic attacks
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and was just in a place where I couldn't function unless I got help.
Mm-hmm.
So that really began my healing journey.
Yeah.
I mean, it began before then, but that's what really forced me to take
Mm-hmm.
it to a higher level.
Yeah. It's kind of like that tower card, it's like
Mm-hmm.
that crumbling to the core in a sense that,
Uh,
and that's one of the reasons why I really like this card. It's a really beautiful card, and that transformative energy of the butterfly,
mm-hmm.
right? And you and I know this, we all know this, that the butterfly, the caterpillar has to turn to goo in order to change form to become a butterfly. And
Uh,
so that goo is kind of what you're talking about, being in the gooey place.
yeah, it's a very uncomfortable place. But you have to, I love that the Fool card came along today as well. To me, that just feels like surrender. And
Yeah.
you really do just have to surrender and trust at
Yes,
that point.
absolutely. And it's interesting that the mandala is present in this card
Mm-hmm.
because
Ava pointed that out. Yeah.
yeah, I love that. Um, Denise, your journey has had multiple facets, not unlike the amethyst. Um, Many facets. And, you know, one of the things that I love about our lives, and even in the darkest times, right? And this is like you were saying, there you're having some dark times, I'm having some, everyone actually seems to be kind of experiencing a little bit of darkness right now, or a lot of darkness,
Mm-hmm.
depending on what it is. That in those times we call upon a lot of what we've already learned. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes they take a new form that seems more authentic for who
Yes,
we are on our journey. So you want to share a little bit about how that happened
sure.
for you? Okay.
Sure. Well, something that's always helped me personally is creativity. I love being
Mhm.
creative, and love I would color mandalas. I did all these other different type of creative activities to kind
Yeah.
of
Yes, you
bring me
do.
to a place of calmness and serenity
Mhm.
when things feel a little frenetic for me.
Mhm.
And I started, I don't, I started one day just kind of doodling, or I've always doodled. Like if I'm listening to something or watching a TV show, I might doodle while I'm taking notes. But um, I was asked to do some readings for a group, and instead of doing a verbal reading, I ended up doing pictorial readings for
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
And they were very simple shapes and symbols, and phrases would come in, or questions maybe that was meant for the person to ask theirself. And from there, I began weaving that into my Reiki and heart path sessions. And I'd leave my client with a piece of paper to take with them, in addition to the healing work I did, but something to continue to work with.
Mhm.
Um, and I began doing this for myself daily. So instead of daily journaling or morning pages, I started just drawing for myself and seeing what would come through and what wanted to come through that day. Um, and it was, I think in 2022, our family experienced a lot of loss right in a row. We had three big losses,
Mhm.
including the death of my mom that was unexpected. Um, and these drawings became even more important for me in helping me to move the grief and to just kind of process what was going on and these losses that we are experiencing. And in doing this, I began to communicate with my mom. I started realizing that the phrases and the words that would come through were from her. So it was like having a conversation with her. And my drawings just became more ornate. And I just remember one day going, "Oh my goodness, what is this? I've never drawn something like this." And I helped um, some people around me, including yourself, helped me to see the significance of these mandalas and these drawings that were coming through instead of just me doing doodles on the page. But it became a powerful form of healing for me. Um, so I saw that I could hopefully help others in this way. Just that's how I started doing my Reiki practice. I received my certifications to help myself with my anxiety.
Mhm.
Um, and I saw how much it helped me. So then I took it to others. And that's what's happened with these mandalas and the messages that come through.
Yeah. So for as long as I've known you, it's interesting, and I kind of want to point this out. Um, we talk about our path and our purpose, and we talk about our visions and what we can see. A lot of times, what we see for ourselves is a version of what is coming, but we don't always see the exact detailed map,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I remember
Right.
early on, if you go to the essence of what you've always wanted, was to offer people, women in particular, but people, an
Mm-hmm.
opportunity to be experience something of beauty and creativity and feel healing energy moving through them.
Yes.
That because and the way it looked originally was like, okay, I'm gonna have my healing studio, and then I'm gonna have these places where people can color and do these different things, and that's all good too. You can still do all of that, but the essence of it was something even deeper and bigger, and allowing you to bring forth a healing energy that literally offers everyone an opportunity to channel that energy through themselves. And
Mm-hmm.
so, um, I want to say one thing about your journey. When I just want to witness and reflect something. And then I really want to get into the power of a healing mandala and how it works.
Okay.
So I'm going to witness and reflect something to Denise today. So, Denise, do you remember the phrase that we're supposed to use this year?
I do. Uh,
Okay, good.
yes.
Excellent. So when it's time, you're going to use it. Okay. So, many, many, many years ago, one of Denise's anxieties and fears, like many of us, so I can't just say it's yours, but many of us, was to speak in front of people. I don't know if you remember that now. Now that you're this, author and speaker, I don't know if you remember that you were worried about that.
I remember it vividly.
Well, my reflection to you is that you have always been for me and are now a beautiful, articulate, powerful, gentle, radiant speaker of truth and healing.
Thank you. That feels true.
Oh, yay! Everyone give her a big, big yay. Good. Well done.
Thank you.
Okay, for those of you that have no idea what we're doing, this year's phrase is thank you, it's true, or thank you, that feels true, or thank you, I'm feeling into the truth of that. If you can't quite go there, you get options, but thank you for playing along because it is true. And to have used all of your healing modalities to the point where you would now recognize that your voice and your ability to share, and you always have been very articulate, but to share with others is part of what the universe was asking from you all along. I mean, it's pretty amazing.
It is. It's been an interesting, long journey, and I went a little reluctantly for a while, but
Mhm.
I'm grateful to be here now.
I am really grateful you're here too. So
And
let's, oh, go ahead.
I think for anyone, it really, what I've learned is when we speak from our heart and when we
Mhm.
go forward from that place of authenticity and what feels good for us and feels like the essence of us, like you were saying,
Mhm.
um, we can become so very powerful
Yeah.
coming from that place and not from the place of um, what we think others expect us to look like or
Yes.
sound like or
Yes. Yeah. And and that's something that I think every one of us have struggled with to lesser or greater extents. But, a lot of people will say to me, "Oh, you had anxiety? Oh, you didn't always feel comfortable, sharing who you are." And I always say to people, for many years it was very scary and there were death threats and there were reasons why I stopped and didn't share more of who I am. And there are times when I'm still moving through that. And
uh,
this is really important, I think, for a healing journey is to remember that healing journeys are cyclical, they're spiral, and they offer us opportunities to come back and go deeper into what it is. I mean, I think you would agree with that.
definitely. After, gosh, it's now been about 20 years since I was experiencing those panic attacks, and I see and feel that I've come so far.
Mhm.
And this year has really not just completely blown that out of the water and taken me to an even higher level. But it required me going really deep and in the darkness for a while.
Yeah, and for those of you that wonder, like, okay, why do we have to travel through the darkness? It's a good question. I can't claim to be an expert on that, but I've come to the conclusion, at least so far, that something about choosing to come to Earth and walking the human existence and really truly embracing having a human life does bring a measure of darkness and things that we would never ever wish upon any other human being. Um, and I really appreciate your vulnerability. I appreciate your transparency about, things are not easy right now. And yet here I am still offering the healing energy in the forms that are bringing you great peace and joy as much as possible, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's what I love to do. And I just feel like we all have that capacity to heal ourselves and to help each other.
Yeah, and I think probably everyone gathered here right now can relate to this, but there's an element where when I'm sharing my work and when I'm working with people, I mean, every day I feel inspired, right? That healing energy moves through me in a different form, but it feels good to be able to offer the gifts that we have. And that I think is one of the reasons why you and I are both so passionate about continuing to do the work even when things are challenging.
Yes. I had another mentor a couple of years ago comment that we do ourselves a disservice and we do others a disservice when we do not um, explore our gifts and
Yeah.
put them out into the world. And that really stuck with me that, it's felt scary to put
Mhm.
myself and this out here, especially to people who don't know this part of me. But it's been so rewarding just seeing how many people it has helped, and it's connected me with so many people from my past and just all walks of life.
Yeah, it is truly extraordinary we do have that opportunity to really share who we are. And yeah, there
Mhm.
are losses along the way. There are places where the discomfort of maybe who we really are doesn't quite align or fit with
Mhm.
maybe who we were. Um, or how as much as we could express ourselves at that time. And so sometimes relationships don't fit anymore, and
Yeah.
we have to walk through that. And then there are those relationships that um get to grow with us, and there are growing pains that happen in all relationships, including the one with ourselves. So the darkness is real, but so is the light, and so is the
Yeah.
healing. So let's talk about how, okay, so this is one you've already done for us, but
Mhm.
let's talk about the healing power of mandalas and how we can use this even right now while we're talking.
Sure. Um, well, for me, the mandalas, whether I was coloring them in a coloring book or now drawing them, um, they take when you're doing creativity, it takes you out of your mind and out of
Yeah.
the overthinking things, and it puts you into a place of centering, grounding, flow, calmness. And that's when we can really tap into solution for ourselves. So for me, that's what it does. That mandalas also carry, they can carry a lot of color,
Mhm.
and colors to me have become a very important part of helping myself
Mhm.
to shift my energy. The symbols, numbers may come through, shapes may really jump out at you, or it may be the mandala as a whole that speaks for you and become it's like it comes alive. And you can use it, you can color it or draw it, you can imagine it being in your body where you would like some healing. There's just so many different ways to work with it. I've done a channeled message for today's to kind of show you an example
I would love
of
that.
what can come up
Okay.
through the mandalas.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to read it. And I invite everyone to either close your eyes or color or whatever feels good to you as I read this. I am flow, no beginning and no end. The energy of flow simply is. What are you waiting for to jump in and let it carry you? What are you waiting for to be one with flow? Wait no longer, dear one, for flow is not something that is achieved when conditions seem perfect. It is quite the opposite. Things feel perfect when we tap into and become one with flow. What lights you up? What sparks joy? What feels true to you? Begin here and allow it to open you up and become one with flow. What does flow wish to show you? Where does it wish to take you? We know it is somewhere beyond your wildest imagination, and we know that you are ready. Begin anywhere. There is no right or wrong. Choose colors that feel good to you and inspire you or calm you, whatever you are craving at this moment. Feel into the energy of of this mandala as you work with each shape, each symbol, until the momentum of it empties your mind and opens your heart to the flow of life.
Mhm.
What are you hearing or seeing for yourself? What is the message flow is here to deliver to you? Where do you most want to go? Go or do or become? Capture it all as you go along. It is all here waiting to greet you and carry you away to where your heart and your soul desire.
Mhm.
And so it is.
Mhm. Thank you. That was
Can you
beautiful.
please share that with us in writing? That's so beautiful.
I will. Denise, is that okay if I send it to you?
Absolutely. I'll put it in the
And you,
follow-up email. And I
okay,
will also, if it's okay, I will put it in the YouTube comments when this gets posted on YouTube. Would that be all
sure,
right? Okay.
sure. I'm sorry, it came through this morning, or else I would have had it
Oh,
go
no,
along with the
please, no
mandala.
apologies. The fact that you did a channeled message for us this morning, hello, we're celebrating that. Thank you. And it was
You're welcome.
absolutely perfect and beautiful. And I really, I want to share that as you were as you were sharing that, I was just deepening in and listening and witnessing where, and this is something I learned when teaching the artist's way. There are things that Julia Cameron calls blurts, which are little like niggly. Other people might call them gremlins. I think in my coaching training they were called gremlins, but little things that come up that don't necessarily fit with what's being shared, right? Like the beautiful energy. And I was just noticing a couple of things that surfaced. And I wanted to share that authentically here because I think that the element of when something surfaces, whether it's a grief or it's maybe a dream that we never followed through on, or maybe a dream that has had to go by the wayside, or something that either, or maybe it's something that's like, hello, I really want to be heard and seen, and you're not paying attention to
Yeah,
me. That those are part of the healing journey. We're not talking about bypassing at all. We're very much talking about what is surfacing and what
yeah,
wants to be healed.
yes. And I believe it is all information for us
Mhm.
and to explore. And it might be something that's just ready to let go of. It might be something that needs more attention.
Mhm.
Um, but I do know that if we ignore it, it'll come back later on for us, maybe even a little louder.
Yes, that does happen.
So I do think it's important to pay attention to all the information that comes to us,
Mhm.
whether it feels good or not.
Yeah, and if I may, that's spoken from our resident channel of healing today to us. That is actually Jupiter and Gemini's message.
Mhm.
It's all information. It's all for our best, whatever that is, and how can we work with it in the highest and best way. So you are channeling Jupiter and Gemini a little early, but you're on it. You're like, I feel it. I feel it.
Perfect.
Um, so Denise, would it be okay if I go over to the Instagram and just share some of
Sure.
the images that you've done? Okay, so do you want to share a little bit about how you're working now and what it looks like right now in your life? And I'll get things going up here in the Instagram.
Okay. So this is all somewhat new to me. That what I am mainly doing is somewhat if someone would like a personal mandala, um, I create it for them. I draw it freehand on a 12 by 12 canvas and can send it to them. And I do a personal channeled message to go along with it.
No, right? How lucky are we? We just got one. Thank you for the
Mhm.
collective. But so what you're doing is people will reach out to you and then you create. I mean, I have them. I just can't reach them right now. I have two. I'm very lucky. I have two. One for my 60th birthday and one that you made for me earlier. But here are some that you've created for others, right? Am I right about that?
There, some are created for other. I actually don't post the personal ones because they
Okay.
are personal to
Okay.
it's just like doing a healing session. So I
Oh,
keep it
sure. I get
private
it.
unless I have, there's some personal ones on my website that I ask for their
Okay.
permission. But what these are ones I do, I draw every day. And
Mhm.
so, or channel, and they're just ones that come through as I'm going along in my life and ones that have really helped me. So I try to have a little message. That one there I know was on a new moon call with you, the
Fun.
Capricorn new moon. And I
Yes.
just did that the whole call. It took a while to do that one, but
Yeah. Right.
um,
Amazing.
it was really cool. And I just, that's what I do when I'm listening and taking information in is it's coming out in these mandalas. Um,
Yes,
this
I just
one,
want. Oh, go ahead.
yeah, well, this one here is with a little bird in the picture. I actually have that one next to me.
Where is that
One of,
one?
it's one of, it's got the little plant in front of it.
Oh, this one here. Okay.
Yeah. that one says trust your journey. And that one was very intricate and took me a while, but it felt like a bit of an unraveling as I was drawing it. And just the message of trusting our journey is what I look at this every day and remind myself.
Yes.
And so that one was one of my favorites.
It's beautiful. It's exquisite,
Thank
actually,
you.
is the right word. And this one, so I want to say about the Capricorn new moon of that time and that call, when we do the retreats, I mean, the whole intent of doing the mini retreats is to have healing energy flowing. And so this to me was just amazing to see the visual of the energy that we created during the call. You know, like that blew my mind. But also how incredible to have a visual representation of healing, right? And I mean, they're all different. You know, there are maybe some stylistic similarities, but they're all completely unique. I love this. Yeah.
And, the colors I mentioned earlier they're so significant to me. I just really feel into what it's almost like, what does my body need? What does my soul need? What colors really replenish me and bring about the energy that's coming through for me or for whoever the
Yeah.
mandala is for.
Are these the pens you use?
Yes.
And can you explain what you're using? Because some of these are on most, okay, yeah. Could you explain the paper, canvas?
Sure.
What are you using?
I mainly, well, I began using black, I found black sketchbooks, black
Like
journal
these?
pages,
Uh-huh.
and I use acrylic pens, metallic mostly. But what happened was I began to get requests for business mandalas. So I then had to learn how to do these digitally. So this one that one with the yellow and white there, that's done digitally. So I do, I just feel into which
When you say
modality, or
digitally, what do you mean by digitally?
I have an iPad and an Apple Pencil, and I use an application called Procreate. My son, I reached out to my son and said, I need help learning how to draw digitally. So he guided me to Procreate, and I've come to love that application.
Wow.
And you can pick
So it's
all
all
kinds of
you.
colors.
Yeah, it's
It's
all
all me.
you.
Yeah.
Because I think and this is really important in this era of the AI image and art, this is all you, even if you're doing it on your iPad.
Right. It's a blank black square, white square, whatever I create on, just as if it's a piece of paper. And I have to say, in all honesty, when I started seeing all the AI art and things that could be done, it was intimidating because this is not that. And so
No.
I just had to really remember that this is all coming through me, and it's very healing and not it's energetic, so energetic as opposed to AI.
Yeah, it is beautiful. And I don't know enough about shapes per se, but one thing I do know is that a lot of time I doodle like you do. I always have doodled. I mean, I'm taking notes when I'm talking to you all clients, but I'm also making images, and a lot this particular shape here, I make all the time. That sort of kind of like this. I make it all the time. And I tend to make hearts a lot
Yeah.
as well. And I see hearts a lot in yours. So I think there may be some universal images that bring us centering, as you were saying, or peace, or just kind of help us focus. I mean, I don't know enough to say more, but that's my suspicion.
Yeah. They all, everything is energy. So even though it appears to be flat and on a piece of paper or on a digital application, it puts out a frequency and a vibration, the shape of it, the color, I'm looking at that one. I do spirals quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
It just brings in a lot of movement, and
It's
it helps
amazing.
is
Mm-hmm.
to me become I love to exercise and hike and
Mm-hmm.
swim, but it's a different way of moving energy
I
for
love
me.
it. Yeah, it's gorgeous. Can you tell
Thank
us a
you.
little bit about this one? This is the one
Sure.
that has been out in the world in a big way. So can you
Yes.
tell more about that?
Yes. I was invited to do a mandala for a book that a friend and her partner were publishing, and it's a collaborative book. It's called the whole picture doesn't show up there, but it's called The Power and Impact of Courageous Changemakers: Stories of Life, Love, and Business. And I was asked to do the cover art for it, and so I did a mandala around courageous change,
Mm,
and this is what came through. And I was honored to be chosen to do this artwork for the book. I have it now and
yay!
published, and it's an Amazon bestseller. Um, and I also I decided, at first I didn't think about becoming one of the authors because I thought, well, I'm not a courageous change maker. And then the more I sat with it, I realized that I made a lot of courageous changes in my own life.
Mm,
And so I asked Donna and Sue if I could contribute a story. So I also have my story of anxiety in there.
excellent.
Um, and it felt very scary. The book was published March 12th, and it felt very scary to put myself out there in this way, because I know a lot of people don't understand channeling, and a
Yeah.
lot of people don't know my story of anxiety.
Mhm.
But what happened, and what I just hope inspires other people, is when I finally put myself out there, just authentically, vulnerably, I am now in this place where I feel like I'm finally being seen and heard for who I truly am,
Right.
instead of previous roles that I felt like I jumped into. And it's, as long as we can push through that fear
Mhm.
of showing who we are,
Yeah.
um, it's so rewarding to finally be seen for who we are.
Exactly. I love that. I like this one kind of
Hmm.
to support what you just shared. It says, I am sacred, but you crossed out the word scared.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, no, I'm not scared anymore. I'm sacred. And they're the same letters, they're just a little different.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow, thank you so much for sharing and congratulations on that. We have
Thank you.
someone on our call today who has a business logo that you designed. Would that person be willing to let me go to their Instagram page and show that? Yeah, okay, great. Let's go there. Okay, there it is. Check this out. Oh, nope, can't go there. Wait, don't check that out. Hold on. How can I,
Oh,
oh, there,
there it is.
start here. Of course, start here. All right, Denise, can you tell us a little bit about how you created the logo for Ava Jones's page here?
Gosh, well, I know Ava very well, and so it's easy for me to kind of convey her magic that she brings to her work and to others. So I did a mandala and presented it to her, and then she asked me to do a horse with it, which was something very new for me. So I then added the horse in the middle and just did a more kind
Mm,
of a generic one, not too detailed, but I felt like it just needed to flow into the mandala and into the magic of this. And I just elements of it came through. I feel like there's butterflies and transformation, the feathers. The feather is such a, I know, to many, a sign of angelic support or ancestral support when you come across the feather. It just feels very flowing and magical. And that's what Ava brings to her work.
Yeah. So again, even if you don't know someone, you could actually do a logo for them. How would that
I
work?
can't.
Yeah, how does that
It
work?
work. It works in the same way as a mandala, because it really, I think of it all as a mandala and not a logo
Mm,
per se, but it's something you're bringing the energy of the mandala to your business,
mhm,
just in the way that your personal mandala would support you. This
mhm,
mandala supports your business. So I do, with a business mandala, I find a little more information about and maybe the intention that they would like to come through or the clients they help.
right,
Maybe their brand colors are important. You know, the personal ones, I just use what comes through
right.
for people, but the business one requires a little more detail
Yeah.
for obvious reasons. And I'll do a large mandala, and then I'll do a little one if they just need a little something to put like at the on a business card or in
On
little
it.
places where the big one
Uh-huh.
won't fit.
Oh man, that sounds amazing. That sounds really good. So, what is the best way for people to reach you if they have any questions or if they'd like some of your support in whether for
Mhm.
business or personal?
I can be reached at edenisesutter@gmail.com.
Okay, let's put that in the chat. Let me make sure I have it right.
There, I
E,
can type it.
you type it. All right, that's good.
um, and then I'll also, I just need to think that's right. I have my glasses on.
I know, I have to do the same thing. Let's just make sure we get it all in there.
And then I just built my own site. It's in progress, so it's not the prettiest one yet, but EdenSoulDesigns.com, you can find um, examples of my work. You
Mhm.
can, I have a few interviews on there if you want to learn more about me. Um, and it's got my contact information as well.
Yeah, it's again, and it's an amazing. This
Thank you.
is mine right here. There it
Yeah,
is.
I
That
love
one's
that.
mine. Yeah, I'm pretty excited about it. So it's over there, and I look at it every single day while I'm working, and I love it so much. Um, these have always reminded me of there's a card. Um, it's the Four of Wands. And anyway, I'll come back to that another time and talk to you more about how this speaks to me at different times through some of the
Mhm.
tarot that I've done in the past. So these are great. And here's another one too. Here's Ava's, and then here's that I can't put that.
That's Dashka's healing hands.
Okay.
She does energy work.
Nice.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Wow. Well, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank
Um,
you.
yeah, this has been really exciting, and I'm going to continue working on this throughout the day. I have my pencils and my pen, so I'm ready. I really appreciate you being here during this particular time as we move into this week of Jupiter, of energy around shifting, flowing, changing. And with our cards for this week too, we all now have a mandala to find our way through whatever energies are presenting themselves. So thank you for that gift. And yes, we'll get the actual words to your channeled message today. Really appreciating that. And I don't want to put you on the spot, but I'm going to. Um, how many of you out there would like Denise to make a healing mandala oracle deck of cards? Right? Hello. All
Thank
right.
you.
Yeah. And I mean,
That's definitely a dream of mine. So thank
yeah,
you.
we're getting a lot of yeses here, big yeses. Oh, I'm getting an oh my God, that would be so cool. Yes, yes, yes. So I know it takes time and it's not about rushing and it's not about meeting any deadlines, but there's clearly a desire. not just for the visuals, but for the channeled messages. And I realized, oh yeah, see, there's support for you here. There's so much support. That having an opportunity to, even in the midst of challenge, and maybe in the midst of challenge, right? To create and listen to those messages, because we all are in collectively in a time of challenge. This is not one of the best times, the best of times, the worst of times. I would say we're not at our best here, humanity. But I do think what we have going for us are these incredible beings that all of us who are willing to be our full selves as much as possible. And I'm on my own journey for that. You're on your journey, and it continues to bring the energy into the world so that we can bring what is necessary to turn things around. Bring more light, love, peace, healing, joy, all of it into the world. So I'm really super grateful for you, friend. You're amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm grateful for you as well. I know I would not be where I am today without you and all the help you've given me throughout the years, and the support and the love. So thank you.
You're welcome. It has always been my pleasure, for sure. So I'm going to close off the recording now. Did I even record it?
Did you?
I did.
Yes.